Greetings, greetings. Thank you so much for joining the next episode of Oba Omi Says. We are here at episode 13. Thank you so much for tuning in this week, you guys. We're going to go ahead and get started, but first we're going to go ahead and do our housekeeping for today. First and foremost, like, comment, and subscribe, and ring the bell for post notifications so you can be abreast of everything going on over here at Oba Omi Says. Secondly, we are going into we have primarily started the second quarter now, you guys. So we are in the second quarter of the year. You can still schedule a reading with me if you have not done your year reading already yet. But just be aware that the energies are shifting and changing, in each quarter. So be mindful of that and schedule your reading to get your energy for the year as we continue to move forward. Next, I would also like to say that Station Head is coming, you guys. I have a list of some activities we're going to be doing over there just to let you all know. So that's going to be one thing that you all can look forward to in the future. And last but not least, our chapters are in the description of the episode. We have, you expand the description, you pick on whatever article you would like to listen to, whichever section you would like to listen to, whatever interests you the most. If you don't have time to watch the whole entire episode today, I would suggest definitely today's episode topic. So definitely click on that section if you need a suggestion on what to listen to today. But feel free to listen to all of it when you have time. So once again, thank you guys for joining us for this next episode of Oba Omi Says, and we'll go ahead and get started on today's episode. Alright guys, we're going to get started with the show with our pop culture and entertainment news. So you guys know how this works at this point. We go over a few things, go over what's going on in the latest in the celebrity world and the Billboard Hot 100. So we're going to talk about that in our pop culture and entertainment news. So let's go ahead and get started with our celebrity news. First up, we got Donald Glover talks new Childish Gambino music, Harrowing season opener of Atlanta, and Son's reaction to his bald head. The actor-rapper also hinted to Jimmy Kimmel that the new Lando Calrissian project may be in the works as well. Donald Glover is super busy, except when he's not. That explains why during a chat with Jimmy Kimmel on Tuesday night, March 29th, the actor, rapper, producer, writer had a long list of projects to talk about after an extended hiatus from the spotlight, including updates on his Childish Gambino rap project, the recent debut of Season 3 of Atlanta, and a tantalizing tease of his return to the Star Wars universe. The multi-hyphenated star took the stage in an all-white outfit and a freshly shorn head, which prompted host Kimmel to dive right into the joking reference to the instantly infamous Will Smith slap attack on Chris Rock at Sunday's 2022 Oscars. Now don't slap me, but your head is bald, Kimmel cracked. I'm not Atlanta character Earn anymore. I just took it all off, said Glover, who added that he shaved it himself and that one of his kids was definitely not on board. My middle child says Daddy looks weird, which I do to him, Glover said. He was at the Vanity Fair Oscar parties when he saw Smith storm on stage and hit Rock, but he wasn't really into rehashing the incident that spawned a river of hot takes. Exactly. We all Libra brothers, see, we understand. We got Donald Glover, Libra, Will Smith, Libra. Don't do all that. Let these people eat that up. Exactly. You guys, I really like Donald Glover. I definitely would like to work with him. I've worked with him before. I put a picture before, and I forget which episode it is, but whatever episode y'all go back and see, where I talk about the Atlanta 3 season opener, you'll see me in a photo shoot with Donald Glover that I was casted for season 2 of Atlanta. So you'll see me walking an alligator, but I had a good time working with him, and I think he's a very talented man. I really pray all the best for this. Now I don't know about that Lando Calrissian project because they need to just let Star Wars die. They've ruined it so much, and I know it won't be anything with him because he wouldn't. I mean, he might have a hand in production, but you know, I'm sure they have an idea for what they're writing because this is Disney at this point. So it's like, but no, I mean, it's whatever. That's do you, Donald. Like, congratulations on everything. Enjoy your shaved head. I'm wondering if you got initiated or something low key the way you acting, but I don't know. But we'll see in the days and weeks to come. So y'all let me know what y'all think about Donald Glover and all these things going on with him in the comments. Now we're gonna move right on along to our next topic on our celebrity news. So the next article is weighed down by bad reviews. Morbius opens with 39.1 million. Sony Pictures' Marvel adaptation Morbius landed with dismal reviews but still managed to debut with 39.1 million in ticket sales according to the studio estimates Sunday. That was enough to easily hand Morbius, starring Jared Leto as a vampire transforming biochemist, the top spot at the box office, even though it was an uncharacteristically low debut for a Marvel movie. Sony's last movie to launch a Marvel character in 2018's Venom opened in 2018 with double the ticket sales. But Morbius also drew unusually bad reviews for a Marvel release. On Rotten Tomatoes, it sits with easily the worst score for a Marvel film at 17% fresh. Venom, 30%, wasn't a hit with critics either, but given the forecast had ranged closer to 50 million opening week for Morbius, the poor word of mouth and worse reviews likely to cut into its receipts. Yeah, so you guys, so I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, they tried, like they put Jared Leto in it and they thought that was gonna be everything, and it obviously wasn't. Morbius is an obscure character for those of my comic book fans that are watching Morbius. We all know Morbius is an obscure character. Definitely from most of the Spider-Man universe. So that little universe right there, the Spider-Verse, I guess. So, you know, Venom, I think, is more of a popular character because he had a costume similar to Spider-Man, like historically with a comic book. And Morbius is more of an obscure character. So, you know, it's like they tried. They did everything they could, you know. I mean, at least they still made number one, but, you know, I wasn't expecting it to be bad. Now, I feel like people are more prone to bad reviews because they don't really know this character, so it probably only drew a lot of people that were niche fans of Morbius, and they probably were upset because I feel like a lot of Marvel purists, they don't like a lot of the Marvel movies in general because most people are just excited to see their character on the screen. But some people like the original storylines, and they would have rather seen that be produced than, you know, the stuff they come out with. So I don't know. I don't plan on seeing Morbius, you guys, so I can't tell you. But anybody that's going to see Morbius, let me know what y'all think in the comment. Do you think it do you agree with the critics? Is it not that good? Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments. So next up, you guys, we have Lee Daniels and Monique in Feud as he taps her to star in Netflix Demon House, replacing Octavia Spencer. What a way to end a week of chaos. Lee Daniels and Monique have seemingly ended their years-long feud as he tapped her to star in his upcoming Netflix Demon House. As Deadline reports, she is taking over for the role from Octavia Spencer, who exited the project due to scheduling conflicts with Season 3 of Apple TV's Truth Be Told. As we reported back in January, Netflix beat out multiple buyers for this untitled project, winning it for $65 million. As we reported back in January, Netflix beat out, like I just said. The film, which has gestated for years, also sees Will see Daniels reunite with his United States versus Billie Holiday star Andra Day, who will lead the film as character based on Ammons alongside Monique, Glenn Close, Rob Morgan, Caleb McLaughlin, and Ingenue Ellis. Daniels is producing with Tucker Tooley and Pam Williams. Drafts were written by Dave Cogshell and Elijah Bynum, with Daniels rewriting for most of the recent vision. So you guys, Monique and Lee Daniels, after all this, Monique is really my girl, y'all. I really love her. I really, really do. And I really feel everything she be talking about. Now, I am a little surprised that she went ahead and went forward with Netflix. Now, at the same time, I feel like maybe Netflix did a private apology to her as well, because we know she had the issue with Netflix. So this is definitely interesting, but I know my girl moves with a purpose, and I appreciate her doing what she does in the entertainment industry to expose certain things and to help bring fairness and equality to the industry. So, and her husband is a Libra man, so they give him hell, but he doing his thing, obviously, because they're heading in a good direction. So congratulations to my girl Monique. Lee Daniels, don't lose your relationship with my girl again. I've actually worked with Lee Daniels too, you guys. I've worked on Star when it filmed in Atlanta, the show Star with Jude Demarest and what's the girl name? I can't remember all the names. Ryan Destiny, that's her name. So you guys, I was grateful to have the experience of working on Star. I was on several episodes in both seasons. And maybe I have to show y'all those one of these days. Oba Omi in the acting industry. That was fun during this time. And I still am. I just more and more on the production side now, you guys. You know how that goes. So, I'm glad to see that things can come around full circle in the industry that I am still climbing in myself. So congratulations to you all, and keep it moving forward. Love you, Monique. And now let's go ahead and move on to our final article for the day, which is Grammys barely moved the needle in television ratings. Despite a night of feel-good vibes and performances by the music industry's top acts, the Grammy Awards barely moved the needle as a television attraction. The show reached just under 9.6 million viewers on Sunday, the Nielsen company said. That's a 4% increase over 2021's broadcast, a more intimate affair because of the pandemic, and the smallest ever audience for the Grammys by a wide margin. Any year-to-year viewership increase is usually a cause for celebration in today's television world, but that has to be considered a disappointing showing when you consider the previous week's Academy Award increased its audience by 58% over 2021. John Baptiste was the biggest winner at the Grammys on CBS, which featured performances by Billie Eilish, Olivia Rodrigo, BTS, Chris Stapleton, Justin Bieber, and others. So you guys, the Grammys was a snooze fest. I never planned on watching it. I still haven't watched it. Honestly, the clip that you see before you was the first picture I see of it. Of course, I know we've all heard all the news about the Grammys by now. I heard about who won, who didn't. But I didn't care to see it, just like I didn't care to see the Oscars, just like I didn't see that slap. Just like all those things, I just heard about it because I knew you guys were going to talk about it. So, thanks for filling me in. I see I didn't miss much. So what do you guys think? I didn't hear anything exciting about the Grammys. Not one performance. Wasn't excited about the awards, the speeches. I saw my girl SZA. They was trying to say she was faking her crutches or whatever, but she did show out with them crutches. Like, okay, SZA, you better be giving us good, disabled grandma. I love SZA, but that was funny. I was like, really, SZA? You could have just had them bring the mic to you. I would have been like, can somebody bring the mic to me? Because I'm not about to get up and walk all the way up there right now. So, but yeah, so interesting, you guys. Interesting. So that was the Grammys for the year. It was a snooze fest. Did you guys watch the Grammys? Did you guys enjoy it? Let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments. And we're going to go ahead and move on to our next section. Alright guys, and for our last section of our pop culture entertainment news, we're going to go ahead and talk about the Billboard Hot 100 for the week. Let's see what's going on with Billboard. So for the week of April 9th, this is what Billboard is looking like, you guys. For the Hot 100 in the United States, we got number 1. Heat Waves by Glass Animals is still number 1, you guys. You know, they moved back up. They've been here for a minute. You know, they've been on the charts for the minute, but they've kind of knocked a lot of people down. Stray by Kid Laroi is number 2, you guys. So Justin Bieber, they're holding down the number, and Kid Laroi and Justin Bieber holding down the number 2 spot. Some kind of reason, you guys. Big Energy by Lotto is number 3. Jumping up from number 11 last week. I don't really know anybody that listens to that song. I know they play it a lot on the radio. I'm not knowing too many people that listen to Lotto, and I know she's released some music recently that hasn't really made any noise, so that's interesting to say the least. And then surprisingly, she knocked Kodak Black down with Super Glimmer's number 4, and with all the drama that we hear going on between them two, you know, that's interesting and funny. Then we got number 5 by Imagine Dragons with Enemy. They're holding down the number 5 spot. They moved up this week. Then we got Justin Bieber with Ghost moving down to number 6. ABCDEFU by Gayle is moving down to number 7. We Don't Talk About Bruno, moving down to number 8, you guys. I guess We Don't Talk About Bruno's reign is finally coming to an end, you guys. Then we got Lil Nas X moving down to number 9, but still in the top 10 with That's What I Want. And Doja Cat moving down to number 10 as well with Woman. So that's what's going on, you guys. Adele has moved down into the top 20. You know, Dua Lipa, all those who've been there in the Hot 100, they've kind of moved down. So let's see if there's any honorable mentions for the week. We definitely have Machine Gun Kelly, who is on the Billboard 200 album chart. So apparently his album debuted and is brand new on the charts, and people are really into it. I don't know anybody that's into it, but allegedly that's what's going on, because he's number 1 on the Billboard 200 albums list. You know, who else would I give an honorable mention to this week? Anita is up with Involver on the global charts. So Anita is an honorable mention for this week. You know, this is just some interesting movement on the charts for this week, you guys. That group called the Stray Kids that just popped up last week, gone on most of the charts. I think they might be like number 15 or something on the artist charts. But yeah, Machine Gun Kelly is number 1 on the artist and the album chart. So Machine Gun Kelly is charting, you guys. So that's what's up for him. Like, you know, I haven't heard any of the music from his album, but I'm wondering what it sounds like, because it's definitely making some noise somewhere. Somebody's playing it, you guys. So that's interesting, to say the least. So what is it looking like for you guys? I want to know what happened to that group called the Stray Kids. Like, they just literally come in one week, then just leave the charts completely the next week. Like, what the hell? Like, or maybe they're just so low that I didn't go to see how low they were. But they're definitely not in the top 20. That's just unusual. But I guess Nicki Minaj did the same thing when she came out with a few of her songs recently. She would chart like for a few days. But we know what the industry's trying to do to her. So, you know, it is what it is. So, but that's interesting, you guys. Is this what you guys are hearing in the streets? Is this what's going on the charts for you guys? Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments. Alright guys, we're going to go ahead and move on to our next segment. We have our world news segment. So I have some interesting world news today. We're going to stay on this side of the world, in the new world, North and South America, Central America, our area. We're going to see what's going on with our world news today in the United States and in Lower America. So let's go ahead and get to it and talk about it right now. So let's start with our United States news, guys. So the states look for solutions as U.S. fentanyl deaths keep rising. As the addiction and overdose crisis that has gripped the U.S. for 2 decades turns even deadlier, state governments are scrambling for ways to stem the destruction wrought by fentanyl and other synthetic opioids. In state houses across the country, lawmakers have been considering and adopting laws on 2 fronts: reducing the risk to users and increasing the penalties for dealing fentanyl or mixing it with other drugs. Meanwhile, Republican state attorney generals are calling for more federal action, while some GOP governors are deploying National Guard units with missions that include stopping the flow of fentanyl from Mexico. It's a fine line to help people and try to get people clean, and at the same time incarcerate and get the drug dealers off the streets, said Nathan Manning, a Republican state senator in Ohio, who is sponsoring legislation to make it clear that materials used to test drugs for fentanyl are legal. So this is interesting, you guys. What's so interesting to me is that what started off as a man-made chemical that I guess a lot of this stuff did, because, cocaine was put in Coca-Cola and was a man-made medicine before it became a commercial drug. All these opioids now are following in that same, thing. This is just interesting, you guys. And see, I didn't even know, you guys, that Prince had died of a fentanyl overdose. I didn't realize how many people had died of fentanyl overdoses and things like that. I didn't realize how long the fentanyl thing has been going on, and that has been this serious myself, you guys. So I just think this is interesting. I'm praying for anybody dealing with any level of addiction for anything, because anything can be addictive, in this day and age, physical and even some things that aren't even physical. So, it's a lot of things that can be addictive. So my heart goes out to all those dealing with addiction, and I pray that you're able to get through it, you guys. But you gotta let me know what y'all think about all this fentanyl going around in the U.S. I had no idea it was this bad, and it's just crazy to me that just something that was made by these pharmaceutical companies is now to this magnitude and synthetics. It's crazy, you guys. Crazy, I tell you, crazy. But let me know what you guys think about that in the comments, and let's go ahead and move on to our last piece of world news. So our second piece of world news is from the Honduras area. So we're going to go down to Honduras here on our side of the world. Honduras court seizes ex-president's property. A court in Honduras authorized prosecutors Friday to seize properties, bank accounts, and vehicles linked to former President Juan Orlando Hernandez. Court spokeswoman Barbara Castillo said that includes 30 properties, 80 accounts, and 16 vehicles. The preliminary seizure is for 1 year but can be extended. Eventually, the properties could be permanently seized and turned over to the government. They are in the names of 11 people linked to Hernandez. Earlier this week, Honduras Supreme Court approved the extradition of Hernandez to the United States to face drug trafficking and weapons charges. Hernandez's wife, former First Lady Ana Garcia, made public a letter in which the former president again asserts his innocence and claims to be the victim of revenge and conspiracy. You guys, so is it y'all out in Honduras sending up this fentanyl? Is that y'all out there? Y'all got the president out there in Honduras looking crazy because all this stuff coming up through the pipeline. Now, you guys, this is the first that I'm hearing this. I don't know anything about. I know it's been some interesting thing going on in the Central American area, like a lot of these countries too. You guys, a lot of indigenous lawyers are dying in the courts, in the town. Excuse me. People that do lawyer work and legal work for indigenous people, indigenous advocates. Now, people are getting, allegedly conspired against for drug trafficking. It's just interesting, you guys. So, I don't even know what to say, you guys. There's a lot going on around this world. Honduras, you guys. What do you all think? Have y'all heard about this? Are y'all getting some stuff from out of Honduras? You know what I mean? Let me know what you guys think about this piece of world news in the comments. Alright, you guys, so we're gonna go ahead and move into our next segment. We have our spiritual perspective segment, and we're gonna kick off our spiritual perspective segment with our meme analysis. So I have some funny memes today. It's been a couple that I've been seeing circulating about a particular hot topic that I really am not trying to give any more clout to, but it is what it is. Everybody's into it, but as you guys can see on the title meme for the video for this episode, it says, people obsessing whether the slap was real or fake. Then it says, me, everything is fake. And it's that girl from, not Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, or whatever that dragon show was, you know, looking like she's on a set or something like that. And, you know, she's kind of dressed up in her character with that wig on and smoking a cigarette, like, you know, kind of like showing that everything's fake, so, you know. And it kind of makes you wonder, like a lot of people are saying it was some Illuminati-esque things going on with the slap. Everybody knows what slap I'm talking about. The slap from last week, the slap heard around the world, all those things they call it. So you guys, I don't know, but you know, I kind of agree with this post. People obsessing over whether the slap is real or fake, and shoot, everything is fake nowadays, especially, you guys. I wouldn't be surprised if it was fake. I don't know. I don't really care. I didn't even see the initial slap. Only saw the aftermath. So you guys, I don't know. You guys, let me know what you think. You know, do you think everything is fake? Are you agreeing with the sentiment of this meme? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Moving right on along. So the next meme we have two more quotes here. So the next one is, I used to think I can save everyone until I realized they were drowning me. You know, I had an interesting story, like, from my childhood, back from Oba Omi's childhood. I remember one time when I was a little boy, I was in Jamaica, and I was swimming at this pool, right? And a lot of other little kids was out there, but it wasn't too many adults around from what I remember, and basically it was just the kids out there. So this little boy, he jumped into the pool, and he could not swim, you guys, so he just started, you know, just kind of drowning in the pool. So nobody else was around. All the other kids had ran off. So I was like, oh my God, I'm literally going to have to save him, like, or else he's going to, like, die. Because by the time I go find an adult, you know, anything can happen. So I ended up jumping in the pool to save him. And that's when I first realized that when people are drowning, they will try to push you under to get air. They'll do anything. So this little boy pushed me down. I had to, like, basically, like, punch him in the face to get him to stop. He was pushing me down. I was going under. It was only like 6 feet of water, but you know, that's pretty deep, and that's definitely the type of feet that drowning can happen in. And I was a kid at the time, so this particular quote just rings so fresh when I think about that. You know, I used to think I could save everyone, which that was an actual moment when I thought that I could, until I realized they were drowning me. So that physically and literally happened to me before. So, you know, you guys, what do you guys think about that? Do you agree with this quote? I think that is definitely philosophically, metaphorically, and figuratively true. I think all those things are definitely true, that, you know, you can't save everyone. And if you try, they will drown you. You know, a lot of people have a lot of things going on, and we only have a certain amount of capacity, each of us as individuals. So, I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Let me know if you think that you can save everyone, or if trying to save everyone actually drowns you. Let me know what you guys think about that one in the comments. And for our last meme of the day for the analysis is another quote. So this quote says, only when you accept yourself as you are, here and now, growth and change can occur. You know, this is interesting, and you know, I'm gonna delve a little bit more into this in the episode topic, you guys, as you all will hear a little bit later on. But you know, this is just interesting because I find that a lot of people, you know, they don't truly accept themselves, you know, the light and the dark of themselves. They don't truly understand every part of themselves. They live in denial and delusions about certain things about themselves because they don't accept every part of themselves. So, you know, this quote is just interesting to me because it says, only when you accept yourself, your full self, all of yourself, your light and dark, as you are, here and now, growth and change can occur. How can you repolarize any dark polarity or light polarity or any kind of polarity if you are aware and accepting of what the polarity is? You know, we have to think about that. Change and growth can occur without, you know, acceptance of yourself, your light, your dark, and all. So, like I said, I'm going to get more into this in the episode topic, kind of analyzing and talking more about this, you guys. So definitely stay tuned and let me know what you guys think about this quote and all the other quotes in the comments. Alright guys, and for our last part of spiritual perspectives, we're going to go ahead and do our astrology reading for today. So, let's talk about astrology, you guys. We're only going to talk about the sun through Venus. For Mars and all the rest of the outer planets, you guys, refer to episode 12 so that you can see the energy, because those planets are moving. I know Mars will be moving by next episode, so we'll be talking about that next episode. Venus is moving, well, just moved this particular episode because they had been in the same spot for a while. So we're going to talk a little bit about how that energy is going. So let's go ahead and get into it, you guys. We're going to do the sun, the moon, the Mercury, and Venus. Mars through Pluto, you guys, refer to episode 12 to get your insight. So, of course, you guys, you know, the sun is still in Aries. We're still in Aries season. So, we know what the sun represents. We know that it represents our inner personal purpose and inner drive. So, right now, one of the energies that most of us are experiencing is very strong personalities. We're experiencing the entrepreneurial spirit. We're being ambitious and we're willing ourselves. But at the same time, we're being stubborn, obstinate, and tenacious. Even though we might be being those ways, it's sometimes for good causes right now. And a lot of the weaknesses going on in our psyches right now is like nervousness, impulsiveness, wastefulness, provoking natures, restlessness, and changeability, you guys. So that's what's going on right now in the overall mass consciousness energy, with us burning right now on the light of Aries, you guys, for Aries season. You know, we're in the light of Aries, beginning of spring, you guys. So let's go ahead and move on to our moon right now. So remember, guys, the moon expresses our purpose in everyday activities and through our emotions and our attitudes and our habits. So it's our undercurrent, you guys. Right now the moon is in Gemini. So, you know, we've been liking to kind of sit around and read and, you know, kind of be into literature right now, be in our own space, but adapting to all situations and social groups at the same time. So we've been having this dichotomy of a thing with the moon being in Gemini. We have been in the mood to work with the public right now, you know, and do different things, being helpful of different natures. And we've been willing to travel a lot right now. We've been thinking about it. So the only thing is right now in our undercurrent, we're kind of dreaming, guys. We're not having a lot of follow through with the moon being in Gemini. You know, we're being very indecisive and we're going back about things on decisions that we've made. So we're kind of in our head a lot right now with the moon being in Gemini, you guys. So be mindful of that energy, you guys, as we move forward through these next couple of days with the moon being in Gemini. So we have our Mercury. Don't forget, you guys, Mercury represents the concrete and the conscious mind, how we communicate, you know, how we assimilate different things. So Mercury right now is in Aries, you guys. So right now with Mercury being in Aries, as the sun is in Aries, you guys, you know, there's energies of arguments and disputes and discussing a lot and answering back. But, you know, even though this is just a symbol of a lively mind, so just keep that in mind. And also quickly understanding given situations, even though it might be, you know, kind of hostile. And being very resourceful and capable with the Aries energy and Mercury, you know what I mean? So Mercury and the Aries energy, rather. But at the same time, when it comes to our communication and our conscious mind and things we're consciously doing, we're being a little bit impetuous and hot-headed with the Aries energy. Petulant, impatient and hasty, which can cause problems due to lack of foresight before acting. So keep that in mind, you guys. We have to balance that out with some of our outer planetary energy, you know. So keep that in mind as we're moving forward. And last planet for today, we're going to be talking about the changes in Venus, you guys, right now. So Venus represents our capacity to love and our values. It also shows our attitudes and needs in love, and also shows us what we attract to. So Venus is that energy, you guys. So be mindful of that. So Venus is in Pisces right now. So people are experiencing out in the earth, they're being a little more sentimental right now. Energy of being easily moved to emotions right now, being in melancholy, you know, that's kind of a state right now that a lot of people are in, but also being very romantic. So with Venus and Pisces, this is a good time for love is in the air right now, you guys. So people are feeling, even the people that might not usually feel it, with Venus being in Pisces, they might be exuding a little bit more of this energy. People are being very generous in love, you know. But at the same time, you know, with that sentimentality and all those things comes the Piscean other side, which is risky and confused loves. So, like, you know, this might be going on with multiple people. And then also, you know, insane hopes. So, you know, that's the other side of our Piscean Venus energy. So you guys be very mindful of that right now. There's a lot of strong energy going on. You know, with our communication and in our conscious mind, it's kind of going heavy against the things like Venus. So be mindful of that, you guys, because, you know, things are going in the way that they're going. And we need to be mindful of these energies, guys. So Mars through Pluto, you guys. That's all the outer planets. Be sure to refer to episode 12 to get your energy reading. Just go down and expand the description. Go to the Astrology and just listen to what I'm saying about the outer planets. You can fast forward through that section or do whatever you need to do to get that. And as those planets move, because they move much slower, we'll be updating those as well, you guys. So let me know what you guys think about this astrology reading. What energies are you experiencing? What energies are you feeling? You know, what any other insight that you may have, let me know, you guys, in the comment section. And we're about to get ready to go ahead and move on to our next segment. You guys, I don't know how I almost keep forgetting this every single time, but actually I did not go over our lunar cycles. So let me do that real quick before we move on to the next segment. So you guys, we just came out of the new moon on the 1st. So I hope everybody has been attuning their energy to the waxing of the moon, because we're coming into the waxing half moon on the 9th, you guys. So this is going to be interesting. You know, we're taking a lot of the Aries energy. We're taking a lot of the fire energy of the season, the spring, the new year. And we're manifesting a lot of energy. It's a lot of fire right now, you guys. It's so much going on with the elementals and in the heavens that we all need to take some time to harness this into our projects, grow some things with the moon cycle, trace the moon, do our moon lunar rituals in order to, you know, harness properly the power of the moon so that we can manifest different things, you guys. So definitely keep in mind the lunar cycle for those of you that plan things around the lunar cycle or do rituals around certain times of the lunar cycle, you guys. So now we can go ahead and move on to our next segment. So you guys, we are here at the episode topic for today's episode. Today's episode topic, you guys. So what are we talking about today? We are talking about an aspect of self-acceptance. Self-acceptance has many aspects that we can definitely go into, but I want to kind of let this serve as an entry point into this topic, and we'll probably bring it up another time and potentially even have other people come and speak about it. But let's talk a little bit about self-acceptance, you guys. So there's an interesting concept. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It's called the Johari window. So, what is the Johari window? So, the Johari window is a technique designated to help people better understand their relationships with themselves and others. It was created by psychologists Joseph Luft and Harrington Ingram in 1955 and is used primarily in self-help groups and corporate settings as a heuristic exercise. Luft and Ingram named their model Johari using a combination of their first names. So in the exercise, someone picks a number of adjectives from a list, choosing ones they feel describe their own personality. The subject's peers then get the same list, and each picks an equal number of adjectives that describe the subject. These adjectives are then inserted into a 2x2 grid of 4 cells. The philosopher Charles Handy calls the concept Johari's house with 4 rooms. Room 1 is the part of ourselves that we and others see. Room 2 contains aspects that others see but are unaware of. Room 3 is a private space we know but hide from others. And room 4 is the unconscious part of us that neither ourselves nor others see. So that's pretty interesting, you guys, right? Johari's window technique. So what does this have to do with self-acceptance? Let's talk a little bit more about these 4 rooms, you guys, in Johari's house. Johari's house, Johari's window. So the open or arena area, that part that says arena on the illustration that you're seeing now, arena. This is where, in this exercise, the adjectives that both the subject and peers select go into that quadrant of the grid. And those are the traits that the subject and peers perceive. So both yourself and others perceive that in the arena or the open quadrant in the front part. So then we have next to it, we have the blind spot. So blind spot is the adjectives not selected by subjects, but only by their peers. Those go here. So just what others think about you go there. Not that you particularly see. And these represents what others perceive, but the subject does not. So that's your blind spot. Then up under it on the second row on the left, if you're looking at it head on, we have the facade. So the facade is where the adjective is selected by the subject, but not by any of their peers. So those words go in that quadrant. And these are things that the peers are either unaware of or are untrue for the subject's claim. So this is the part of you that only you know, the facade portion right here of Johari's window. And then we have, of course, the last but not least, the unknown box. So those were the adjectives that neither the subject nor peers selected. They go there. They represent the subject's behaviors or motives that no one participating recognizes, either because they do not apply or because of collective ignorance of these traits. So this is the part of you that represents your patterns, like certain things that you do that is kind of like down to your genetics, down to your spirit, like, you know, things that you push forward. So, you know, I like to use this, especially talking about this subject, because one thing about this exercise, it reveals different things about, you know, your psyche, you know, or, you know, our id or our ego or ourselves, the way we perceive ourselves, the being that we are. So Johari's window points out that there are, you know, and this is just, you know, this is just for a thought experiment, you guys. This is not the only thing or way to break down this type of knowledge or process this type of knowledge, but this is an interesting way. So you have these floor spots of your being. You have the open area, where an arena area where, you know, you and others can perceive a certain thing in you, and, you know, that's an area of yourself. You have your blind spot where others perceive things of you, but you don't know exactly what it is. Then you have your facade spot, what no one knows that you do, you know, and that's just your particular, that's the part that no one sees. And then the unknown part, which is unknown to all parties, of, you know, where, like, it goes down to our subconscious, the things that run our subconscious and power us. from the great beyond. So that's interesting to me because when you think about this, it shows different things. So what I want to talk about when it comes, or why I brought up this example to relate this to self-acceptance, is because I wanted to bring up about how most of us have, not even most of us, all of us have both light and dark. We have two polarities. There are two polarities of nature. It's light and dark. We look at it as plus and minus. We might look at it as in north and south, or a lot of different dichotomies. You can see it, but those are the two aspects of life that manifest the 3D reality, the light and dark, and then comes the third. So those two things, the up, the down, the left, the right, the light, the dark, the hot, the cold, the yin, the yang, that whole thing shows you how everything in nature is. We go through a day and a nighttime. So just like nature itself, we reflect that. We have both a light and a dark part of our psyche. Is light all good or bad? I wouldn't say so. Is dark all good or bad? I wouldn't say so either. There's different times to use different things in your life path where you might need to exercise certain things. So, for that aspect, you might need to activate your dark side. And the dark side represents the unconscious side of yourself too. So, you never know what type of unconscious, very positively polarized abilities you might have, but it still represents the dark side of your nature. And, the light side is a different polarity. So sometimes light itself can be very cutting and piercing. So there are things about our light nature that can also not be beneficial in this life path. So that's why I say both your light and your dark self are not I don't want to say beneficial, excuse me, but both your light and your dark self, they're not necessarily good or bad. They both are what they are, light and dark. So, when it comes to accepting yourself, most of us, if we are looking at our minds in the Johari's window, the Johari's house, our quote unquote dark self is in the room where a lot of times no one knows about us. So, one thing about it is, there's always a saying that says what's in the dark must come to the light. But, there has to be a way for you to manage all of your energy so that it does not, rear its head in a time that's not necessarily when you want it to. We must be able to exercise within reason our light and dark energy, and in the way that we can, that's a healthy way for us to express those things and to bring a balance into our equilibrium. Now, we've been programmed to think that the dark or the occult or the unknown or the unconscious or the not seen, we tend to think that those things are of an evil nature. That's the way we've been programmed. That's not particularly how it is. And, that's one thing we have to realize. And we also would be surprised that, some of the things we might consider in the facade room of our Johari's house, where we think that it's unknown to other people, so it might be in our blind spot as well. You know what I mean? Because people might notice this. So that's the thing, like how I said earlier, what's in the dark will come to the light. When you have to cap a piece of yourself, it will come out literally through your pores. It will definitely rear itself. So, it's good to be open and honest, and it's good to, if there are things about your dark nature that you want to curve or change, that's cool too. You are who you are. You might always have that dark proclivity though, because that might be a part of your nature. But to manage it in this realm and in this time is your task and your test in this lifetime, by being conscious here right now. So to manage it through this world, so we all have a plethora of light and dark energies within us, you guys. So we have to learn to accept those things for what they are. That goes back to the self-acceptance piece. We have sides of ourselves that, even in the Johari's house, that no one knows about. We have to accept those things. We cannot be in denial of those things. Those things lead to delusional states. You know, people generally tend to, you know, speak on themselves in the front room, the arena room, you know, in aspects where people know them as in a certain way, a certain light, thinking that nobody has access to the dark side that is behind that room in the room of the facade. You know what I mean? People think that nobody can see that, but we are unaware of the beings that walk with us. And then also in the unknown room, because some of us have spirit guides and all kinds of things, even just spirits of our family and ancestors that walk with us, that basically might manifest through us a lot of times, and that's just in the unknown section. So only certain people would even be able to pick that up. You might not even be able to pick that up if you're going through something like that. So, you know, we have to remember these things, that, you know, we can't always go and try to act as if we're more than what we are in our self-acceptance. We are all light and dark. You know, when we get into a blame game, or when we get into, you know, for a lot of things that happen in our life, I'm not going to say everything, but for a lot of things that happen in our life, when we get into the habit of blaming others for those things, that's living in a certain realm where you're not really accepting yourself. You're not accepting flaws that you might have made. You're not even considering those things. You're not even considering the nature that you have, that you know about, but you think nobody else knows about, so you just think it's non-existent. But that's not particularly true. So all these energies are manifesting at the same time. You know, our light and our dark side. You know, the arena area, the blind side, and the facade, and the unknown are all manifesting at the same time in Johari's house. So with all that going on, we have different sides to ourselves that are all running through the same processor, which is our physical complex. You know, our physical complex being, which is our body. So, you know, we have to be aware of those things, because when we accept ourselves and allow ourselves to be ourselves, we're able to basically live a harmonious and balanced life. Like, we know how to push away things that are negative. We know how to naturally curve our negatively polarized nature, and to curve it into a positively polarized, redirect that negatively polarized energy, the dark side energy, and repolarize it into something positive. You know, in the E5 tradition, they would say was coming out the EB and going into the E-ray, you know, going into the light. So, you know, these are things that you have to think about, that when you accept your dark, the light that you glow is a different kind of light than just living in the facade of light. You know, not in your facade room, but in that front room of just all these qualities that you feel that everyone knows you have, even though other people may feel different ways about you, and even though you know that there's a side of yourself that other people may not always see, and you know that there's even some things beyond you that take over too. In the unknown section, you might know these things, but you have to accept these things for what they are. And once you accept these things, you'll be able to navigate the wave of your consciousness. You know, if you have negative habits, when you accept these things, you will begin to be able to learn how to change them into a positively polarized habit or purpose. So, you know, you have to accept it first. You know, you have to accept what it is that you are and the things that you've done or whatever. And not that you have to confess it or do anything for anybody else, but you have to accept it for yourself. You know, you must accept it, because you can live in a facade or you can live in a lie, but that doesn't really help evolve your consciousness or elevate you to the highest that you can be in this lifetime. But that is a way that you can live. But, you know, at least acceptance for yourself is the biggest thing. Whether you go and confess it or whatever, you know, that's on you. But, you know, accept it with yourself and know that these things are what they are, your light and your dark. And learn how to harmonize those things so that you can turn your piercing light that's a little bit, too piercing, we can turn that down. And your dark that's a little bit too dark, we can give a little light to that to bring a balance to your nature. So nothing's wrong with you thinking certain ways or being certain ways. It is what it is. Some of us, we think certain ways, we are certain ways. But what is wrong is when you go against, the mass consciousness. I hate to say it, but we live in a mass consciousness that we all share. And when you just drastically go against it, it generally results in problems. And the universe itself will make sure that, it balances out all the zeros and ones. So, for those that understand what I mean, it'll balance out the code. So, you don't want to live off balance because you become a part of the system, where they consider you unbalanced. And you can come back into balance, but, that's just something you'll always have to deal with. So, this is my first part of self-acceptance, you guys. I think this is a very interesting topic. We can talk about it again. What do you guys think of the Johari window technique? I'm interested to know what you guys think about that. Let me know what you think about that in the comments. Are you aware of what's in your arena area? Are you aware of what's in your blind area? Do you actually recognize what's in your facade area? Or can you detect anything that's in your unknown area of your Johari's house? What do you do to practice self-acceptance? I'm interested to know what you guys think and what you guys do. So let me know in the comments, you guys. This is this week's topic. We'll go into different subject matters of spiritual and psychological and just interesting nature. It can really be anything in this section, you guys. But this was it for this week. And we'll go ahead and move on to our next segment. Alright guys, so we're going to go ahead and move on to our energy reading portion for today. We're going to get to our energy reading portion, and today is the first episode of the month, you guys. So, of course, we have our monthly consultation with Eshu and Mare de Lagoon, trying to figure out the energies for the month. So we do have that for today. So let's go ahead and tap straight into that energy with Eshu right now. Now, on another episode, probably the next monthly episode, or maybe I'll do a episode topic on more about Mare de Lagoon and Ifa Orisha, so that people can understand more, and then I'll always use that as the reference video for people that don't know what type of reading this is, for you all to listen to, so you can understand what type of reading this is. So I'm doing Mare de Lagoon to Eshu, and I'm consulting with him about the energy for the month of April of this year. So these are the things that came back. I wanted to let you guys know I pulled the Odu Ogbe Ofun with Eshu for the month of April. So what are the messages with Ogbe Ofun, you guys? This month will exude the energy of reconstruction, as in destruction of the old and a creation of a new. So this is a month for kind of like, spring cleaning, funny thing, for tearing down some old things and preparing for a rebirth. There have been some things that have been wasteful in your life that you need to kind of excrete right now and bring new energy into your space. Spiritual work is needed to be done in order to gain abundance, particularly financially this month. So everybody be mindful of that spiritual work is needed. In general, for alignment with the higher frequencies, one should plan to do spiritual work in some form or fashion this month. So whether you're meditating, whether you're doing mantras, whether you're giving back in the community, whatever it is, you need to be planning on doing something to appease your spirit, going in walks through nature, or doing dancing, do whatever you usually do for fun, allowing your mind to be free to connect to the other realms of the universe. That's necessary for this month. So keep that in mind. For people in the Ifa traditional denominations, as far as whether you're Isheshe, whether you're Lukumi, whether you're candomblé, whether you're Santeria, whatever your denomination of Ifa is, the tradition, get a reading for this month to see what energies need to be appeased. Everybody should definitely consult Ifa if you have that, appease Ifa, or see, you know, if you have an inclination about any particular Orisha or other entity that you have that might need to be fed, make sure you check into that. People who do not do spiritual work, now would be a good time to find a citrine. A citrine is a stone, or a crystal rather. So everybody take a look. The word citrine is spelled C-I-T-R-I-N-E. Get a citrine and charge the crystal and maintain the crystal with an energy cleaning routine to work your aura to be able to attract abundance. So for all my people that do not work in that realm, and for people that are in the spiritual traditions, a citrine will be a good thing to have around you charging right now. This is coming from Eshu. For those in the Ifa tradition, plan to do sacrifices for protection, particularly of your home and people and things important to you. For those who do not practice Ifa, look up basic ways to have spiritual protection around you and your belongings. Contact me directly through one of the links. Reach out to me through any of the links, my DMs, my Instagram, whatever you can contact me on, however you can contact me, TikTok or whatever. Reach out to me if you need help with trying to figure out, for people who aren't in the spiritual traditions, to see what type of protection you can put around your belongings, particularly in your home. If it may be looking like you will end up leading or being an integral part of any type of group of individuals, or you are looking to garner support or a following for any of your ideas, the mentioned spiritual work will assist with this as well. So for those who are looking to lead, that are integral parts of groups, or looking for supporters for whatever they're doing, this spiritual work will also aid with that. That's coming from Eshu. So be mindful. As I said, spiritual work is just necessary in some way, form, or fashion. Be sure not to make moves with deceptive tactics or to slave drive people who you are working with, even if in the past they have allowed this kind of behavior from you. Using these devices will not lead to positive outcomes while navigating the energy of this month. So you guys try to avoid that. Don't be deceptive. Don't slave drive people that assist you. Be mindful of that for this month coming up. If you manage or lead any kind of team, see to it that everyone is eating in the group, especially those working. Make sure everybody's eating if you are leading any team. Be mindful that this Odu speaks of a high workload. So this month will be a month for grinding for most people. So this is a work month, you guys. To bring good fortune and energy to yourself, attend one family, and by family I mean blood related, or the family that raised you, if not blood related. Or if none of this is possible, attend with your most familiar group. So whatever group of family that you have. So attend one family and one community event in honor of your family ancestors and spirit guides, along with the collective community's ancestors and spirit guides. Be of service at both the family event and the community event. Being of service in this capacity for the month will bring the energy of abundance and fortune this month to you. So do those things to help bolster your energy. Attend a family event and a community event and be of service. That means volunteering and helping those individuals out. Be mindful to not exude too much energy of showing off, particularly if you have not achieved much of what you've expected to accomplish this month. Doing so may result in things being awkward, disturbing, and not good. So watch that show off energy right now, you guys. Be mindful of that. And this is the last thing that I have from Eshu, you guys, for this month. While this Odu may speak of ways to achieve blessings and fortunes, all these things mentioned can go in reverse if one makes decisions that are not in alignment or seeking for alignment with their higher self or their higher vibration. So be mindful that a lot of these things we spoke of can be reversed, you guys. So keep that in mind as we're moving forward. So you know, you guys go ahead and take that information, do the work that you need to be doing. If you want to get a personal reading, Mary D. Logan with Eshu, definitely contact me through any of my links, and we'll go ahead and get that scheduled. So let's go ahead and move on to our next section. All right, guys, for our final section of the day, we're going to do our card reading, our card energy reading today. And of course, we're using the cards for Inner Ascension created by my soul sister, Sunni Patterson. Link is in the bio if you are interested in this deck of cards. 44 affirmatory phrases to energize, memorize, and repeat. So go ahead and go to that link if you're interested in purchasing these cards. So let's see what the cards, the spirit guide said through the cards today, to see what our mantra should be for the week coming up. So this one says, life loves me. Life loves me, you guys. So many of us are in a state of confusion sometimes. We feel that no one loves us. We feel alone. We feel that no one can relate. But we do need to understand that we live and love, you guys. Life loves us. The universe loves us. And that manifests in ways through the people that actually do love you, and all the forces of nature that love you. So we have to be mindful of that life does love us right now, you guys. This is a very, trying time right now with everything going on in the world, and specifically in this particular time of this month, this is the time of grinding and a lot of energy being put out, so people might be experiencing certain things, but we have to remember through it all, you guys, that life loves us, and we must keep that energy up, and we must remember that so that we can continue to be encouraged to do the things that we need to do in order to manifest those things that we need to manifest in this lifetime, you guys. So remember that, speak that as a mantra, because sometimes we can just be so down and we just keep it moving that, those things weigh us down and we forget the love that we have in our life, or we don't even think that life even loves us at all. So we have to remember that right now and use that as a mantra, as an affirmation, you guys. So say that one to yourself in the mirror, look in the mirror, put a 3-minute timer on your phone, look in your eyes and say it to yourself over and over again, life loves me, and allow that to spin your energy into a higher vibration, you guys. So keep that in mind for this month. And not for the month. Keep that in mind for this week, you guys. And go forward and do likewise. Alright, guys. So we have made it here to the end of the day's episode, you guys. Excuse me for releasing so late, you guys. I'm trying to get back to releasing. I think my final release date is going to start being on Mondays, you guys. Mondays. So start looking for the podcast on Mondays. And keep that in mind as we move forward. I want you all to just take heed to everything that you've heard. There's been a lot of spiritual messages. Obviously, we see it's a lot going on in the world. So, take heed to your higher self, to your inner consciousness, to your intuition. Take heed to your spiritual life right now in this time, because it's very necessary as we're growing. The moon is waxing right now. We have a lot of beautiful things going on. Harness this energy right now, you guys, and just use it to elevate yourself in this life. Continue to move forward. Continue to grow forward and prosper. Know that life loves you. Just continue to just be all that you can be. Just not in the army. No, I'm just kidding, you guys. But, have a prosperous week. And we are going to get into some things for next week, you guys. So until we meet again, Oba Omi over and out.